Xplor, and with a decent market share, would probably be a $600 to $700 million company.
When Mark Woodland told his friends that he was going to quit the army, put his own ambitions aside to help his mother run a daycare center, not a lot of people thought that this was a horse to bet on. Today though, he's Entrepreneur of the Year with an estimated net worth of $54 million. And more importantly, he and his crew is helping to revolutionize the way we educate our kids. Great to have you here, Mark.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you. So, I'm a father. My boy is about to head into daycare. How do you touch my life?
If you think about why you're going to daycare, or why you go to school, or why you want your child to learn, it's really education. You could probably look after your child at home, in the office, wherever, but you want them to interact with other children, you want them to learn, you want teachers to teach, and that's your expectation, and that's why you're happy to pay. You're not happy to pay if it's not achieving your educational goals for your child, whatever they may be. So the first thing we're doing is letting teachers teach, and I'm yet to meet a teacher that studies 4 or 5 years just to go into the office and do some administration and sit there all day writing documentation and observations on what your child might be doing. That's nice, but I think you'd rather them interacting. So the first thing is we rip all that out and we remove it and let teachers teach your child so you get that education piece. And while they're teaching, we connect you with the teacher and your child through our communication platform, and you're seeing photos and videos of what the child's doing throughout the day. And so that's how we're giving teachers really back to the parent. And we're giving teachers back to education again. And instead of hiring administrators, we can hire teachers.
Primarily teachers back to the kids.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that hard. I mean, let them teach and let them be great teachers and let our kids be wonderful learners and be excited about learning. So when they do get to school, you know, they're excited, they're passionate. I want to learn about this, I want to learn about this. Or they come home in the afternoon and you know what your child's been doing all day and you continue the learning on.
Give us one of those use cases where you changed the daily life of the teacher and the child.
It starts from the start. I mean, the example is you'll drop your child off at work. They might be crying and they'll be upset. You have to hand them over to a stranger. Pretty much. You might know them just from your daily interactions, but technically a stranger. But long story short is you're going to have to go to work somehow, knowing that the last time you saw your child was screaming, upset, daddy don't go, or the 1,000 things they might say. And you have to somehow work throughout the day and be productive, do an interview, but really you're not really thinking about me, you're thinking about what your child's doing. So the first thing we do is we connect the family, and that is as simple as being able to take a photo or video. And in my own centres, it was really easy. Like before Xplor, I'd have to call you up, say, hey Dan, it's all right, your child's fine. You have to believe me. And 90% of the time, you're just thinking, Mark's just telling me what I want to hear. If I can send you a photo or video of your child smiling, happy, riding the bike, in the sandpit, you're good.
What is the size of the market you're after?
The childcare market, there's about 17,000 centres in Australia today, growing. The average size of a childcare centre is about 80 children, so 80 licensed places. Some are more, some are less, but let's just say 80 as an average. Usually there's about 100 families in those centres because not everyone comes 5 days a week. And so Xplor, and with a decent market share, would probably be a $600 to $700 million company. And
that's Australia alone?
Australia alone, yeah.
And that's when you talk to people, there's a little tickle in their eye.
Yeah, that's right. There's definitely a business case to it. Like, we don't do this because it's fun, but our impact statement is to change education.
Yeah.
So we're not against money, but we're not doing this to make money.
The Xplor product, correct me if I'm wrong, you make it easier to run a daycare center, to free time for the educators to educate the children.
It's pretty accurate. So we look at 3 people when we build product and features for Xplor, and then ultimately we sell the product into the center. We're looking at the center first, and in the Xplor world, we think that you focus on the business first and you make it efficient, you make it great, you help them with their enrollments, you help them automate their fee collection, which takes up a good chunk of their time. And if you've got 3 or 4 people in the admin office doing those things, then those 3 or 4 people aren't with the children or teaching. So we focus on that person first, and we help them become efficient. So we're selling efficiencies and automation to the service owner. The second piece of our puzzle is the educator. And I'm yet to meet a teacher, educator that studies 4 or 5 years to go sit in an office and be happy writing report cards or entering things into the database. It doesn't happen. People learn to become teachers because they want to teach. So let them teach. So what we're doing is removing the regulation and the administration, which is important, but it's not as important as teaching. And so technology is very good at doing those mundane tasks that teachers shouldn't have to do. So we sell time back to the educators. And then the third final piece that is super powerful is that parent. And we're selling a connection with their child, connecting them with their health information, connecting them with their daily learning and education. And they're sort of our 3 customers or 3 things that we focus on when we build any feature in Xplor.
Tell me about your relationship with the company.
It's an interesting one.
Yeah.
It's definitely personal. People talk about their startup as their baby, and like Xplor to me really is. It's a living, breathing thing. You know, our logo is a rocket. And so we talk about the rocket as look out for the rocket. You know, we use analogies of flying through space and getting hit with meteorites, and it's taking hit after hit for us. What are we doing for the rocket? Xplor is this thing that we all aspire to be. And so I'm very connected to it. Xplor is much bigger than myself now. It's not Mark, it's not anyone now, it's Xplor, which is really, really cool to see. So it's just grown into this thing. But it needs a lot of love. It's just like your newborn baby. It just doesn't start walking. It needs so much love, and I think a lot of people miss that.
Yeah. Looking back at the journey so far, is there any moment in particular that makes you emotional?
I mean, no sane person is going to do what most founders do because they're much smarter than us. You know, they actually have the brains not to do it. Yeah. It's really just those founders that have that passion and that emotion to keep going. Look, there's been lots of things that I thought were sort of deal breakers, end of the world stuff, and the next day came and the next day came, and you sort of refocused and keep going. I guess the biggest thing that sits with me that's outside Xplor is, you know, sitting with not anything like a table, but a child's table with my mother, and I'd sit there and saying, we're not going to be able to survive till next month. Yeah. And then next month came, and somehow we survived, and we survived, and we survived, and the rest is history. But that's the sort of the struggle and the stuff that you don't see. It's very easy to be negative. Like, it's easy. Like, it doesn't take any effort to say, can't be done, this is too hard. It is so easy. So I think every day you sort of got to pull yourself out of that and figure out how, well, let's just do it. How are we going to do it? But boy, is it tough. So unless you're passionate about it, don't do it. Unless you really wake up thinking about it, or go to sleep thinking about it, or happy to miss your child's whatever for it, which I've done already far too many times in my child's short history of living, you know, don't do it. Like, you're going to have to sacrifice like you've never done before. And people, I don't think, oh yes, I can not go to that party. It's a little deeper than that.
What do you think that drive is about? Because, I mean, you and I could both be with our families right now.
Yes.
But we choose to be here.
Yeah.
And, I mean, yes, there's a part, like, sort of, an intellectual fulfillment is part of happiness, but still.
I guess ultimately, am I happy to sit on my deck or whatever analogy and whinge about the world and look back in 80 years' time and be able to say to whoever's sitting next to me, at least I did something? Or am I going to sit there still whinging about all the problems of the world and do nothing about it? You sort of got to figure out, whinge or not, or do something about it. I had less than you when I started, so what's the problem? It's got nothing to do with assets or connections or anything like that. It's just pure drive. So it's really, are you going to do something about it, or are you going to sit and watch? I sort of just chose I'd like to do something about it.
All the best to you, man.
Yeah, no, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks.